the pitot tube. This time I want to try a magnet. So, you know, if it gets bumped, it gives way. Hopefully it won't come off in flight. The smallest magnet that I have, and I think probably the strongest, is this 1/8 inch diameter. It's about 3/8 inch long magnet. Sand that down to where you can just see the magnet. That's the stem, and for the actual pitot I'm using 5/32 aluminum tube. That looks a lot better. Now I still think the stem is a little short, but that's what I'm going to go with. The magnet is attached. It's going to fit like that. I'm going to have the styrene. Alright, so that is the general idea.
Yeah, so the Mod Podge hadn't fully dried when I pulled the pin out, and it pulled the styrene disc up. But this is a good chance to show a way to fix this kind of mistake with a little bit of heat.
I'm bringing out the iron. Yes, the iron. I know it might melt the plastic, but I'm going to see if it might help glue it down if I don't have it on too high a heat. I want to go ahead and glue in the small magnet into the wing. Pitot, plastic wrap, magnet, bit of epoxy. To really finish up the bottom of the wing, I have to get the gear doors in. A long time ago, maybe a year or longer, I laid up these gear doors on top of the wing skin. This is, I forget how many layers, it's carbon fiber tissue. I forget now how many layers it was. I laid it up so, you know, the skin would, or this cover would match the skin very well. That's what I'm working with. So the first thing I had to do was I used this template and I had to kind of trim around my opening that I had. Now I can't, as you can see, I can't make a full scale opening, mainly because the spar right here, that's about as far as I can go without cutting into the spar. So I took the actual outline and I just kind of subtracted off a little bit of it. And I used my compass to just kind of redraw a line. And then I sanded to the line. That's a compromise, but that's about as good as I can do. Also, you can see that it doesn't come quite far. Again, I'd have to take out some of the rib, and I don't want to do that. So it's a little bit of a compromise. Then I took my carbon fiber and I placed it in position, and I placed the plastic over the carbon fiber, and I traced. Now I made two pieces. The one-to-one has, I guess it's called an articulating gear leg. Anyway, there's two pieces. The top piece is affixed to the oleo, and then the bottom piece is attached to the bottom part of the oleo, but when it compresses, it can actually slide, this piece and slide up and down inside of this piece. So I made this piece first, cut it out. This is the piece right here. And after I cut this piece out, I cut out a second piece, and it fits loosely, something like this right here. Care not to say that it's taken me at least 5 days to get this far. I guess my engineering skills have a lot to be desired. Anyway, I think I have one gear door kind of set up. As you can see, it's using a small brass hinge, probably from a dollhouse type hinge. It is two-piece door. The lower gear door has been inset a little bit. I can't get this to set in because the boss, or the trunnion for the gear, sticks up too far, preventing this door from really laying flush like I'd hoped it would. I'm just going to live with that. Overall, it works the way I wanted it to. I had to take an idea from an ARF I have of using wire like this that's bent to get the gear doors to lay flush. Seems to work okay. The wire goes into a brass tube, and that allows the whole thing to just move kind of as if it were on like roller bearing type thing. I had forgotten that I'd wanted to have an access hatch for the flap servo on the top of the wing. This is an actual hatch on the full size, and so I thought, well, why not make it a hatch on the model? Kind of kill two birds with one stone. But I'd kind of forgotten about that, and now I have to go in and try to open this hatch up. Thought about it a couple different ways of going about it, and I finally just decided that the real kind of bugaboo is this little lip right here where it overhangs the flap. And I wanted to incorporate that, kept the styrene plastic in place. I needed some way to kind of even it out with the sides. so there wouldn't be a big dip in the fiberglass. So what I found that 2 pieces, or a piece of paper folded in half, makes about the same thickness as this styrene sheet, which is about 20 thousandths of an inch. So put that in place, taped it over with clear packing tape. I've come along and put black ink marks on top of the tape, which will then transfer to the resin in the fiberglass and give me some cut lines. And then at the very back here, I had to add several pieces of cut out business card to raise up this little lip off of the flap surface. Otherwise it would have come down here and it would have curved down and wouldn't have looked right. The whole thing needs to be flat, if you will. So I added some business cards and I've taped over them with plastic tape as well. And the final thing I've done before putting my fiberglass down is I've gone over this area with some candle wax, make it a little bit easier to remove. Since I didn't use Vaseline this time as a release agent, I need just use some static electricity to hold the cloth down. And as you can see, as I said, that black ink mark goes into the epoxy, gives you a nice trim line. The hatch has been pretty much cut, the 3 sides here. This is still a little bit long. Let me show you kind of what's going on here. So we have a screw here, that screw there. We have a screw up here we got a bit of access to. And then the other one is right here, right underneath the rib. I think I can get to it. Should I ever need to pull the servo out, I think I can just remove the screw, slide it over, and then wiggle it out up through this opening right here. Gluing in some spacer the same thickness as the sheeting. I'll glue this in with hot melt glue at first, and then if everything lines up, I will come back along and go over it again with thin CA. So I ended up having to break this one off again. This one was okay. I broke this off, applied a little more glue, and it ended up working a lot better. You can see when I push down there's no give, so that's about as close as it's going to get. That's not bad right there. That's actually better than the other side, to tell you the truth. Next step is to glue the magnets up here first, using this holes for alignment, and then once that epoxy is cured, we do the bottom ones. We will attach the magnets and just check for a fit. They fit down in the holes real nice. These magnets help force the magnets in the wing up, contacting the magnets in the hatch, getting a nice flush, even contact with both magnets. There we go. I got a little bit inside, which is just about exactly what I wanted. I got a little more on this side than I did on this side. And then right along the back here you can see where it kind of filled in. So after sanding, this is kind of what we have. And you can't see a gap there at all. A little bit right there. On the other side there is a little bit more of a gap, I think. With the opening and closing on the canopy, the magnets are so strong that it just kind of slams down. So I got a little bit of a gap right here, which opened up, and then a little bit right here. I think again that's because when I close down the canopy, it's just so much force that I think it cracks a little bit. Putting the canopy on and off, it will eventually crack. I try to be as careful as I can, but you can see it just kind of pops right on down.